Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by NotClub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, a.k.a. the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, a.k.a. the Anti-Cynic.
And today, joining us for our most frequent threesome pairing.
Wait a minute.
Wait, 30?
Why? Why do you have to say it like that?
Well, say it like what? Look, it's 2024. I'm not here to kink shame. Listen, we're bringing in, of course, frequent guest and CFO of, the website that we're hosted by, NotClub33.com. We're welcoming in Pat Neistat. Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
So we're on video right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Hey,
yeah,
everybody.
all of this was captured. This is wonderful.
Great.
This is,
just so everybody knows, since it is on video, it is not a threesome. So.
Yeah. I mean, we get to that about exposing us to more listeners later, but what?
I can't. Why do I agree to this every week?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Well, tonight we are going to be talking about your most recent vacation, which you kind of flew halfway around the world, it feels like, and went to go stay at the Aulani Resort over in Hawaii. So, wait, no, kids, no, bad.
There we go.
Goddamn kids. Anywho, Amanda, do you have any sort of history that you'd like to report on with the Aulani thing, or not really, since we didn't?
No, because I was not prepared for this.
Oh.
Okay. That's good.
I was prepared for the second half of the show.
Well, I mean, second 3/4 of the show. We're going to...
Somewhat
there's only so much that you and I can speak to Aulani on since we've never been there. Well, can't really relay our point of view. So why am I padding for time? Anyway,
I think the biggest thing that everybody needs to know about Aulani is that Joe Rohde designed it, right? I don't know how long ago he designed it, but he designed it, and that's really all you really need to know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, since we've done nothing but metaphorically, never mind. We've done nothing but praise Joe Rohde here, particularly the last couple weeks on this here show. That is
your show, not cast. We praised him. So
I'm just saying. I've gotten a little bit more slobbery about it here over the last couple of weeks, but
I heard.
Yeah, and thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Listened and liked.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's try this. Let's try to stay on topic for a change, because the last time that it went off the rails so bad, so bad.
He's not gonna stay on topic. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know either. Anyway, Pat, how long did you choose to stay in Hawaii for your vacation?
So I was in Hawaii for about just a little over a week. And we probably stayed at Aulani 5 days, I think it was.
Okay.
And then we moved to a different island and did some other things.
Okay. But, do you feel like that was a good length of time for the vacation, or do you feel like you needed more time, or do you think you could have just been like, I can do this in a couple of days?
So I hear a lot of people say, oh, you got to be there for a week. You got to be here for this 10 days. I thought 5 days was enough. There's a lot, like, you don't spend your whole time at Aulani, but there's a lot of stuff to do there. But there's also a lot of stuff to do outside of Aulani in Oahu. And I thought 5 days was plenty for us, for sure. Now, it is a long flight, so that has to be kept in mind. I think it took us 12 hours to get there. And we had a connecting flight in Phoenix. So Phoenix, I think, was, I want to say 7 or 8 hours on the plane. And we flew Southwest. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Then I have another question. I realize here that you probably had like a rewards card. I'm assuming that's how these flights were partially paid for anyway.
Yeah. So I own a painting business, right? I'm a painting contractor. I have a credit card, and all the paint and supplies and materials I purchase on my credit card, and I get points. And it's a Capital One card, and I use that to pay for my flights. So that's a pro tip for anybody. What's that?
So we know what's in your wallet.
Okay, Electra.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, but seriously, this is a great way not only to get to any plane ticket. You can use it for hotels. You can use it for whatever travel. So I think I could even use it on my on Disney tickets as well. So
okay.
Oh, nice.
Well,
yeah.
Looking back on the decision then to go with Southwest, do you wish you had gone Delta or United or American or any of the other airlines that are out there that offer a larger seat and better accommodations, I suppose?
I mean, for me, I think Southwest was fine. Yeah, it's a little tight, but I'm not a very big guy, so it didn't really bother me. And they have in-flight entertainment, movies and whatnot. I watched the Hunger Games. I watched all of the Hunger Games in the flight to Hawaii. But I will say I started drinking at like 5:30 a.m. in the morning. So
5:30 a.m. in the morning.
Well, that's why it didn't bother you.
I was pretty.
Now,
pretty
I
toast
do
by the
have
time we got there.
like Lincoln, your son. He's pretty tall. How did he deal with being confined on the flight that long?
He's also
he's a twin too. I mean,
but I'm just saying, like, even it doesn't matter like that. It's just the fact that he's tall.
Both my kids were fine. I mean, they got a little restless, I think, but I think they were fine. Tori was fine. I could see why somebody would want a bigger seat and maybe more room for sure, 100%. But my tickets were so cheap. I think we paid what the cost was like $4.50 a ticket, and that was round trip.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a really good deal. So that's hard to pass up. I think everything else that I found, Delta and American, they were a lot more. So
Delta wants to charge me. Delta wants to charge me $4.50 one way to fly back to Atlanta. So.
Oh, that's crazy. Use Google Flights.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You ever use Google Flights? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I kind of want to do the whole Emirates thing where you get your own little private like capsule, and then you don't have to talk to anybody ever.
That's cool.
That's dreamy. That's what I would need to fly out to Hawaii.
So how we did it is 3 and 3. The kids and Tori sat in a 3, and I sat in a row by myself, rather right across from them or rather right behind them. So I ended up sitting with other people, and all the times the flights were full. So, yeah.
God, that sounds miserable. It's not the worst flight. That's not what that is.
If you drink enough, it's not so bad.
Fair.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money, but
yeah.
Feels like there's other substances that would help me get me through that a little bit better. Xanax, for instance, that would help me. I'm not a good traveler. I'm just not. Yeah. But once you arrived, the first question we really should have started off with is: did you get laid?
No.
Oh.
They didn't lay you at the airport. They didn't lay you at Aulani. Okay, so we rented a car.
That's bullshit.
So you would think you would. So we rented a car. It's about 30 minutes from the airport, right? And you drive up on it. It's kind of by it. Well, there's two other hotels around it, and then those are just by themselves. It's not a very touristy part of Hawaii where it's located. And then when you pull up, you can see it as you're driving on the highway. I think it's Highway 1, and you're driving on. You can see it. You get off, you pull in, and you expect to get laid, right? Nothing. At the Polynesian, they give you lays.
Yeah.
I was rather disappointed by that, but
That's a damn shame. Okay. Well, since you're not getting laid on this trip, what would you say then is the biggest draw to Aulani, the resort, as opposed to any of the other numerous resorts that are available in Oahu or on the Big Island or anywhere else in Hawaii?
So I can't say if this resort is better than any other resort there because I haven't stayed there. But what I can tell you, this resort is amazing. The detail, every little detail in it is incredible. And I always hear people say, when I was researching it and whatnot, they'd say, this place is authentic Hawaiian. And I don't really understand what that means. But Hawaii itself is just like any other state, anywhere else in the United States. Everything's really similar. But I think when they talk about that, it's the culture of Hawaii, maybe a long time ago, that type of culture. That's what's embedded in Aulani. That is outside of the cultural center, Hawaiian Cultural Center. This is the place I would assume that has that same feel,
Okay.
But whether they have a massive fish tank that you go snorkeling in that is amazing. There's maybe 100 different types of fish, and it's 9 feet deep, and it's just massive. And you pay for it, but you pay for the whole time you're there, and it's like $60. And you get to experience all the fish and stuff that you would see in the ocean around that area, and they're all right there for you to see, which is pretty amazing.
Okay. Then would you say that that's the best amenity then that the resort has to offer, or like what like single amenity? Like we'll talk about the rooms here in a second, obviously, but like like things to do on the campus of Aulani. Like what was the singular thing that it's like, oh, you have to go here for that? Like a beach club at Stormalong Bay, right? That.
So they have this lazy river that runs. So how the resort is set up is that they have a lobby, and then they have 2 buildings on either side of it, and then in the middle of that they have this. They have swimming pools, but they also have this lazy river that winds through the whole property, and it's really incredible. They do, how Joe Rohde did the Tree of Life and have all the animals in it.
Yeah.
Well, along this lazy river, all throughout in the rocks are different animals.
Cool.
Into the rock. So like every time you go around, you may see, there's a manta ray. And every time we probably went around it 100 times, and every time we saw something new, which was cool. Okay. That was a fun thing because you could do it as a family or whatnot, or with a couple or, whatever. I don't know. Even just sitting in the ocean, you weren't where the waves were hitting. They had a lagoon. So it was really relaxed water. You could just get in. You wouldn't have to worry about it because the water is really rough in Hawaii. And it was very pleasant. Now the water is cold, and it's beachfront. So
it was January too, to be fair, than when you went. So,
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, you could still get in the water, but I think that's Pacific Ocean's just a little bit colder than where you guys are.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the water's so hot that it's killing the coral down here, but that's beside the point. What was the food situation like? Because that's the one thing that I've heard from other podcasts and other YouTube videos and stuff like that. That like, yeah, there's only a couple of on-site restaurants, and then you kind of have to fend for yourself for everything else. And if you do, then you're going to walk across the street to the shitty 7-Eleven and overspend on ramen noodles or something.
So I would say, there's 3 sit-down restaurants and 1 quick service restaurant.
Okay.
Now the very high-end restaurant, it sits on you look out into the ocean, and it's $150 per person. So we didn't eat there because that seems just a little bit too much to be spending on
Yeah, $600 for
Um,
one fucking meal. Yeah, I can see why you would think that
Yeah.
would be too much. Okay.
Yeah, for 4 people, crazy, right?
Yeah.
So then they have another restaurant that's kind of under the lobby, and that was, I think it was $70 a person. We did eat there, just because we didn't feel like driving, and I'll get to this later, but one of the reasons why we did eat there is, but the food was fine. It wasn't anything special. And then the other sit down was just like a step below that. They had like sandwiches and burgers, and that was really good. And the quick service had good like poke bowls and flatbread pizzas, and they had good breakfast and that kind of thing. So that was good for sure. But the best restaurant we ate at was across the street. It was called Monkey Pod, and it was cheaper than the sit-down restaurants at Aulani, but they had better quality food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
And also there's like what you call is a 7-Eleven. There's a big grocery store. Forgot it's a chain of grocery stores, and it wasn't overly expensive. I didn't think. I mean, we bought snacks and drinks and alcohol from there. It saved us quite a bit of money because I think the alcohol was like every drink was like $16-17. So just
God. That'd add up quick.
Now, did y'all do the luau? Did y'all do the luau?
Okay, so we did sign up for the luau. One of the last nights we were going to be there, and it rained, so they canceled it. And then that's why we end up eating at this other restaurant that was $75 for adults. But they let our kids eat off the kids menu, which was like $25. So that was nice of them because it said no exceptions, but the server's like, you get what you want. So
okay.
Yeah, we really missed out on the luau. Apparently, the luau was incredible, but we didn't get to experience it. So I did get my money back, but
yeah. Well, there's at least you got something back. I mean, knowing Disney these days, I'm surprised that they gave you a refund at all and just said, "Haha, sucks for you."
Oh, I just saw the pricing for the luau. Yeah, I'm glad you got your money back.
Yeah, it's not cheap. But I figure if you're there, you might as well do it, right? So,
yeah.
And Disney's usually does things the right way. So what they do is it's not them who does it. They have a company that they bring in to do it. Yeah. So, but I wouldn't say one thing, just like every other Disney property and resort and theme park and ride and attraction, like you guys were talking about on your show last week, about theming, the whole resort has a story and how it was built by the Menehune, who are these guys that that apparently helped build Hawaii, and these guys are all over the resort, and you can spot them in different places, hiding, and they're like 2 foot tall, but. Again, it goes with the culture of Hawaii, and that's another Joe Rohde thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that is
it absolutely is. I'm presuming here that you went off campus and did some of the highlights of the islands. Is there one of those experiences that you're just like, man, you have got to go see this?
I don't know. I mean, that we stopped by the Dole plantation where the Dole pineapple. They did have Dole Whips. We didn't get them because they had Dole Whips at Aulani. Exactly. We visit the North Shore. Now that was cool. I mean, you get to see in that time of year, January, December, you get to see those giant waves that they surf on. So that was kind of neat to see. And just driving around like the island, that to me, that was cool. Driving on the coast. That we did on the far side of the island. They have this place where they just have a bunch of food trucks, and we stopped for breakfast there one day, and we ate at we picked a food truck. One of the kids picked it, and we stopped, we ordered food, and I get to the point. I just realized all of it is vegan. Everything is a vegan store or a vegan restaurant.
Gross.
So I didn't know that. After I ordered, I was like, wait a minute, can we get the regular meat? And they're like, oh no, you can't. It's all vegan. Everything's vegan. But we ate it, and it was good. I'm shocked that I liked it, and the kids liked it too.
Yeah, well, you're also one of those gluten people, so
I like meat. I love meat, but I don't know. It was quite tasty. I wouldn't say that is a highlight, but it was very inexpensive too. So if you're on the island, they have a whole area over there that you don't just have to eat there. I mean, there's probably like 20 food trucks over there that you can eat at, and they have different variety of stuff. But it was the only thing open for breakfast at the time, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird.
Don't go there for breakfast.
Bit of information,
Amanda, write that down.
I will make a note of that. So this means you're taking me to Hawaii
for the minutes. Yes, for the minutes of the.
So this means you're taking me to Hawaii.
We tried to. One thing we tried to do is we tried to go whale watching. They take you on a boat or whatever, and that got canceled because of the wind. It was too windy.
So don't go in January. Got it.
Well, it's cheaper to go that time. So.
Well, yeah. Apparently, all the
stuff
you want to do is
it's about the only time that we can afford to go.
Well, the only time it rained was the night that we did the luau. The only time.
Oh gosh!
And it poured. Yeah. But the people that work there are like, oh, it's just raining. Who cares? Like, this Hawaii. That we just go.
It's like us when it rains here. When it rains here, like it'll pass. In 30 minutes. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best time to walk into the theme park is because everybody else is running. But
it is.
Okay. Amanda, do you have any other questions about Aulani that we need to address?
I mean, we probably should talk about the room.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah. So we stayed in a studio room. This is exactly what you expect from a studio room from Disney. And if you've been in one, you've pretty much been in them all. And we had an ocean view. You could see. It was mainly a view of the pool, and then you could see like this. You could see the ocean, like if you squinted and
tiny little sliver of vision.
Now there are rooms that you could definitely see it like very clearly.
Yeah.
If I were to go, this is some information. If I were to go back, I would not go and get a studio because I would want to get groceries and eat some meals, maybe breakfast. Maybe lunch, maybe even dinner at my room. So you need a full kitchen. I would suggest getting a full kitchen for sure, 100%. I would not go back and get a studio because you would save yourself quite a bit of money just eating in your room. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not like, here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, I want to eat Hawaiian food. Well, they pretty much are eating the same stuff we are. They eat fish. Well, we can get fish here,
Yeah.
A lot of the same ones, actually. I mean,
they really promote like
mahi mahi. Yeah.
They promote the coffee and the chocolate and the macadamia nuts and
macadamia nuts.
That's what they.
Macadamia nuts are good.
Oh, we did. Oh, I will say, we forgot. We went to Pearl Harbor one day.
Ooh,
that's an interesting place. Now my kids were a little bored with it just because it's a museum. Which is fine. I expected it, so I didn't get to spend a ton of time there. But I had my grandfather was in World War II, and he actually helped build a church that was on the premise of where Pearl Harbor is now.
Oh, wow.
But it's on the military base, so I didn't get to visit it. I really wanted to, but they're like, oh, you can't come in; it's a restricted area. But he was an electrical engineer, and he helped put that church together. So it would have been kind of cool to see that. But that place is, everybody always says, oh, it's very eerie. To be there. I didn't feel that way. It is a bit overwhelming to see because they have a video and it kind of shows how the attack happened. How many people died, and there's remembrance of the ships in the water, and they take you over the Missouri, I think it is.
Yeah,
and that's worth. I think that's one of those things that's worth seeing. For sure, if you're on
Did the video star Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett by any chance?
No, it did
what
not.
About Cuba Gooding Jr.? No, not Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, just check.
What's interesting, what I didn't realize about Pearl Harbor, and this is stupid of me probably, and I'm sure I learned it at some point, but there are multiple attacks on the island. That was just really the biggest one with the most people that got killed. And the funny thing is that a lot of Japanese Americans lived on that island when it was attacked. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's easier to get to in some ways. So at least from Japan anyway. Now you say it, and then it totally makes sense. But I don't know that history books are really good about saying that Pearl Harbor wasn't the only attack that day.
Mm-hmm.
So
So and they break it down where they attacked, so you could see where you were on the island, and. Yeah.
It was just,
and Pearl Harbor's somewhat in the middle of it kind of feels like it's just like in the middle of everything, so.
Yeah. I've only seen it from Google Earth, so I can't make any other determinations other than that.
One of my best friends, her grandfather, who was like a second grandfather to me growing up, he was there. He was in the military, and he was at Pearl Harbor the day it was bombed.
Oh, wow. So my grandpa was in the Navy as well.
Yeah. I definitely want to go to Pearl Harbor because I feel like I have that little bit of connection.
Yeah, especially if you like history. I mean, I think that's worth seeing. For sure. If you say that was probably the best thing, probably the best experience I had outside of Aulani, I guess, on Oahu. Now that I think of it.
I love history, but I don't recall anything to do with ancient aliens occurring over Pearl Harbor. So he's not in the textbooks that
you never know. You don't learn that in the textbooks.
You okay there, sweetie?
No. No, I'm not. As a history teacher, I am not okay with anything that you just said.
Yeah, so I mean, is there a chance that you guys would ever visit Hawaii?
Absolutely.
And if you would you want to stay at Aulani?
I would.
I don't think so. I don't think that I would.
I think you would love it.
I think I would want to maybe visit there, or maybe just stay there for like a day or two. But I'd want to like really try to island hop. I'd want to go to Maui, and I'd want to go to the Big Island, and I'd want to spend a couple days in Oahu.
My parents did back a year ago, actually, about this time.
Okay.
Did a Hawaii vacation, but they did the cruise that goes around the island, so they got to visit all the different islands. And that, I think that would be something that I would definitely want to do. They got
So we went to the Big Island for 2 or 3 days, I think it was, and that place it's awesome. I mean, because it has 6 volcanoes on it.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not active currently, but on that island there is rainforest that has grown through the lava fields, and it's been so long since that particular side of the island has seen an eruption that it has a rainforest there.
Yeah.
But it also like you're walking through. Well, that's on Oahu where they did Jurassic Park. But you're walking through these lava fields because lava fields are everywhere there, and it feels like you're on a different planet when you're walking through that stuff. Because we visited Volcano National Park, and that was a really cool experience. So definitely, if you get a chance to go to the Big Island, that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get you one final rating on this on a scale of 1 to 5 spas. How many Aulani resorts are you giving? This is a spa and resort. I don't know.
There's spots.
1 to 5. What the hell?
I'll say this. It's not as grand as Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Interesting.
Animal Kingdom Lodge, I think, is just something different and just completely special. This place it's great. If I give Animal Kingdom Lodge a 5, I'd probably give this like maybe a 4.5. The more I've thought about it, when I got there, I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing I ever stayed at. And I think I even told Bobby that at one point. But as time has sunk in, it's amazing. It's a really cool place. But I asked my kids this. I said, would you rather come here and stay here at Aulani, or would you rather go stay at the Polynesian? Mm-hmm. And both of them said the Polynesian because of the theme parks.
Yeah.
And Charlotte, on the other hand, likes the Polynesian better, which I was shocked.
I knew I liked Charlotte.
I know Bobby approves of that, but
I definitely
I would rate this. I would rate this like just a standalone resort is better than the Polynesian, and it's better than any other Disney resort probably, except Animal Kingdom Lodge as a standalone resort. But you got to fly 12 hours or 13 hours or whatever the hell to get to it. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's important. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, thank you so much for filling us in on your Hawaiian adventures.
I didn't even know I could talk that long. 30. Talked for like 30 minutes almost.
I even shut up and like gave you space.
Hold on, this got to be a record for somebody else talking on this podcast.
It is because God knows it hasn't been me.
Whistles and awkward. Anyway. There's no good segue for that one. Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate it. Now, the other reason that we brought Pat on tonight, usually it's to talk financial shit, and we may squeeze that in for 30 seconds. But instead, what we want to talk about here is just the most fire Disney group chat you could possibly imagine, in which Pat knows exactly how to bait me every single time.
He complains about you all the time. He's like, that baited me.
And I know you're doing it, but I can't help myself. That's the thing. Fucker. Everybody has one of those text chats, and they all have that one guy that knows exactly how to spark off a 20-minute rant of like 10-page long text messages from one other guy in that group chat. I'm the other guy. Pat's the guy that knows how to bait me.
Bobby's every time. I've seen some of these texts.
Maybe like 5, maybe a sentence, and then here comes Bobby with like a
paragraph. Yep. He is like.
Well, we gotta tell him what we're talking about.
Mumbling the whole time.
Okay. So specific to our group chat. Anyway, every time somebody brings up intellectual property or it being expensive at Disney World, that's when it's my time to be the cynical asshole on everything. Because you know what? It is fucking expensive to go to Disney World. Like super expensive. We've proven that with maths and such, you know. And I don't know if you guys can tell after listening to all these episodes, but I'm sick and tired of intellectual property. I really am. Like I just want one goddamn attraction where they just don't fucking give me something that I saw in a movie. That's all. Just one. Can we get one?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Bobby, is that Bob Iger is CEO. Before that was Bob Chapek. And before that was Bob Iger. Okay. And after that, maybe Bob Iger. We don't know. But you know what Bob Iger likes?
He likes IP.
Intellectual property.
He likes IP. And specifically, you know what he really likes? Moana. Okay.
Fucking Moana.
So you can get think about it. Think about Shanghai. Think about Tokyo. What'd they put in those properties? They put Frozen, Peter Pan, which mind you, Peter Pan, that looks awesome. The Peter Pan stuff proves that you could take old IP and make something really cool.
Sure.
But that's the future of this company right now is IP, and that's what's going to drive it for the foreseeable future. So just buckle up and enjoy the ride, Bobby.
Okay, let me tell you exactly why you should be wrong. You're not wrong, and it pisses me off that you're not wrong. So I'm not pissed at you necessarily, but I am pissed at Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger. Like, it just Bob Iger, you know, and I think Bob Iger, I'm going to have to throw him under the bus as well for this. Look, anything that has to do with pop culture has a shelf life. Right? I mean, there's only, even the MCU, once thought to be like the pinnacle of movie making, for at least for box office numbers anyway, not for critical acclaim and everything, but that's showing signs of dying at this point. I mean, there's only going to be Deadpool released this year. They've had to do rewrite after rewrite on a bunch of other projects. They had to fire the Kang guy. And the Marvels was the shittiest movie of all time at the box office anyway. Mm-hmm. So even Star Wars, which was, again, it fucking weathered the storm of the prequels and still had one of the largest fan bases. Really, bro?
I do. At first I hated a couple of them, and then now after I've rewatched them and thought about it, I do like the prequel.
Well, you know why? Because the Disney sequels are so fucking shitty that it makes the prequels look like The Godfather.
Fair enough. But I want to counter your point to this. Marvel has been around for a long time. It's withheld the test of time. These characters,
dude, we're talking about. Hold up, no, it hasn't. It's only really been a thing for the last 15 years or so.
I mean, comics have been celebrated for decades.
The comics, but when we're talking about like a movie franchise and all that shit, we're talking about Lou Ferrigno back in the 70s. And there's
ebb and flows of this stuff, and people have always loved Spider-Man. They've always loved Captain America, and now they have the opportunity to be a part of that world with these theme park attractions and rides. And I think that people really enjoy that because they have an emotional attachment to it. And
it's fine to have an emotional attachment.
Maybe they go out, but look at like Peter Pan. That ride, how long has that ride been in Magic Kingdom?
But that's also a cartoon. Babe, your microphone's dead again, I guess. But,
it's an animated full featured film. Okay.
But it's also something. But it's also something that can be timeless because it is a period piece and because it is an animation. You can sharpen that image up much better than you can like a movie from the 1950s or a regular live action movie from the 1950s. Mm-hmm. So, and it's not they didn't have the decision to make whether it was color or black and white either. Mm-hmm. With a lot of. Yeah, remember going to Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater the other night? Wait for that for a future episode, you guys. There's a preview of what's to come. There's all sorts of black and white movies from the 1950s and even some in the 60s as well that can't be beloved like they are today because it was made in black and white.
But what about the Twilight Tower, the Tower of Terror? That's based on black and white, right?
But it's also based on an anthology series. And no, not every episode of The Twilight Zone was in black and white.
I guess, fair enough, but it's not all in black and white. But this is another, and I'll even get to this. And I'm interested to hear what you think about this opinion here, is that even when you're talking about Expedition Everest, mm-hmm. Okay, there's all this lore, and I mean, is Bigfoot and the Yeti, is that a real thing? Or is it?
I mean, I want to believe
it's essentially an IP, right? That hasn't been, and it's been made into movies and it's been made. And there's been documentaries about it, and all Joe Rohde did was take that lore and that idea and put it into a ride. It's basically the same thing as somebody coming up with the idea of Toy Story, creating it, making a movie, and then them saying, "Oh, we need to make this world for you to go visit."
Except that the Yeti wasn't a cartoon. That's the thing. It wasn't a money-making endeavor for the company. and they're double dipping whenever they try to do that. And on top of that, they're ruining the experience of those things when they integrate them. Can you say in any way, shape, or form that the Incredibles update over at the Contemporary has been anything but just a disaster in terms of theming looks?
Amanda, is your mic working yet, Amanda?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you now. But so Amanda, you could throw some input on this. But I agree. I do agree, Bobby, that just throwing IP on something for the sake of it isn't that.
That's all they've done.
I don't agree with that, because when you look at the Avatar, the land, what do they call it? Pandora, the land of Pandora. That is incredibly done. I mean, you have to, like, when you're in that place, it kind of takes you away from everything else, and you're in this area that you can hear it, you can see it, you can touch it,
and it's also
you can smell it.
And it's a movie series that I couldn't give less of a fuck about. Just like the
But you don't have to, even to be there, you don't have to be a fan of that show.
Correct.
To realize that this is some great stuff. Like, this is great Imagineering that we're looking at. I mean, they take you away and take it. It's like you're on another planet, but you're smack dead in the middle of Orlando.
Same thing with Batuu and Galaxy's Edge. I'm not disagreeing with you on those things. And to clarify this position, because God damn it, I have to clarify this position. It is not simply that I don't want any intellectual property ever to be thrown into a Disney attraction. It's that I want it to be done well, and I want it to be done right. And I don't want the storytelling of any particular attraction or any good attraction idea being thrown out because it doesn't have a movie attached to it. Like the Mount Fuji coaster that for Japan. That is something that we should be demanding from the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah.
To get another thrill ride over at Epcot. Right? But we don't have a Japanese Disney movie. So what? We're never going to get it now. That's the reason why.
Get one. I mean, I think they should be exploring all cultural.
Correct.
There's so many great stories in
but they don't.
Asian culture that they. Well, what's Amanda? Did you know what is the movie with the Raya in the? Is it Raya in the Last Dragon?
I think it's Raya and the Last Dragon. I think. Well, in that's based on Asian culture, right?
Sure. I guess I've not seen that one.
I saw it. I just can't remember exactly. But nevertheless,
I think
also Disney.
So look at
Disney has. They don't own
Mulan
studio. I'm going to butcher this name. Ghibli, but they have distributed films by them, and that is a Japanese anime studio. So
okay, there you go. I don't know. It's just like, what do you think, Amanda? I mean, look at Universal, where they're building a brand new theme park. What is in all of that?
I mean, Universal is strictly IP. But I think also it was kind of built to be that way. And also, if you look at some of the older rides, like, you know, they've closed down, especially over in the Universal Studios. They've closed down a lot of those older rides that are based on older IP. I think the Men in Black ride has closed. I don't know about the ET ride, if it's still there or not.
Oh, that's gone.
I think it's gone.
But, you know, so a lot of the
Terminator's gone, Back to the Future's gone, Jaws is gone. No, all the movies that I would like to have seen a movie or a intellectual
Jurassic
property
Park's there,
attraction. No, Jurassic World is there, and Jurassic World is garbage. So, you know,
they do have a Jurassic Park ride. I think it's like a boat ride. They
have converted it over to Jurassic World. All
now.
of it is.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think really the only thing that's there, like from like my childhood anyway, is like the Harry Potter stuff.
Super Mario Brothers.
Well, that's coming. It's not here. It's not in Orlando yet. It's coming, and I'm
built,
excited.
Donkey Kong.
Excited. That was. Yeah. I am excited about that.
Universal as a property is because it's Universal Studios, not Universal World or whatever. Okay. Yeah. It's much better positioned to be a movie-centric theme park than anything that Disney ever has been. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because so many of the older attractions, the original attractions to those theme parks, were not intellectually property-based attractions. Many of them were. Not saying that there weren't any, guys. I'm not stupid, okay? But the Universal Studios itself was always intended to be an exclusively movie-themed theme park. So technically throwing in the Mario shit is kind of a stretch, and it's only because they made the Mario movie last year that I think that they can really get away with it.
I will interject that there's been multiple Mario movies, and during the 90s, some of the great cartoon shows were Mario's. Oh, Mario 3? Really? You missed that one?
Yes, I did.
That's one of the greatest, giant, most biggest pieces of intellectual property that exists is Mario.
Yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of that Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo movie. Remember that one? That was a shitty interpretation of Mario. I mean, God, Bob Hoskins deserved so much better. So much better. He was the guy who played Smee and Hook.
Oh, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great actor right there.
Yeah. I will agree that I will say this. To me, it doesn't matter to me if they make IP or non-IP. I just want it to be good storytelling, and when I experience it, I want it to I want it to be good. I guess I want to be entertained by it, and maybe at some point down the road they go back to the Big Thunder Mountains, the Space Mountains, the Haunted Mansions, the Pirates of the Caribbean. These great timeless attractions that they've made.
Yeah, and they've been able to make the Kilimanjaro Safari,
sure, and Jungle Cruise. These things.
Test Track.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I'm not saying they're not, right? But what I'm just saying that in the climate that we're in, this is what we're going to get, and what we hope for is it's great, because we know at some point it's going to change, right? All this stuff has changed. Think about Hollywood Studios, what that was 10 years ago,
Yeah, and I kind of miss the old Hollywood Studios versus the one that it is now, because it's so it's so disjointed and disconnected. We were walking down over by the Muppets.
Oh, I agree with that.
The other day, and that used to be part of the Streets of America. That used to be part of like the New York set, so to speak. But then all of a sudden there's a tunnel, and you walk into fucking Galaxy's Edge. What the hell is that?
Well, they need to do that so it can be separated. But
they need.
I agree. I think
there's no separation between Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land.
And then they have that buffer. They have that buffer there of the Muppets being in between that and Star Tours, which is even stranger to me.
No, yeah, I agree. But I think the whole problem with that park is the original design of the park was not very good. They ignored Walt's spoke. What he did for Magic Kingdom, what they did for Animal Kingdom, pretty much the same thing. Why did they get away from that? And I know you love Eisner, and Eisner did some great things, but I would say his park design wasn't the best.
Except that they didn't really, because you have to look at it from the right angle, so to speak, to see the hub and the spoke. The hub is.
It's actually more shaped like if you look at it from the air, it's actually a hidden Mickey.
Yes. Yeah. But the hub would be the Chinese theater. And then it spokes off to the Echo Lake area. Then it spokes off to Sunset Boulevard. And then it spokes off over to the studios area where they have the launch bay and what's the name of the Walt Disney one that I keep tripping up on?
The One Main Stream.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like just not set up the way Magic Kingdom is.
No, it's not.
It's not as fluid. It's not as fluid. It's not as fluid as Animal Kingdom.
Well, they shouldn't have they shouldn't have fucked up the design of it by throwing in the attractions in the way that they have. How's that? I mean, it's supposed to be like. So, do y'all know this that that MGM, as it was originally called, was like completely stolen from Universal Studios? Like
Sure it was.
Yeah. They were planning on opening up the movie theme park like before Disney was, and then Eisner was over at Paramount and saw the concepts for it because they were going to license out a couple of properties over there. And then he came over to Disney and was like, guys, we got to build like another theme park and make it all about the movies, and rushed it through production, which is why they only opened up with 2 attractions when it was opening day. It was a great movie ride and one other thing. And I can't remember which one it was, but that's the reason why it was rushed and everything is because they were trying to beat out Universal at their own game. So to me, look, this boils down to a competition between Universal and Disney, right? Universal has all the intellectual property in the world that they can pull from, and they can license other companies' intellectual property. Nobody's licensing shit with Disney anymore. The last person that was going to do that was George Lucas, and now he sold to Disney. So there is no more.
Well, they had Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar.
Yeah, but they bought it eventually with Fox in the Fox purchase. Exactly. But they did license it.
You're going to run out of intellectual properties that people give a fuck about real quick. They gave a fuck about Toy Story and Star Wars, and look at how well the Galactic Star Cruiser went over. You can't just slap.
I think they had other issues, But...
Well, yeah, price being one of them, obviously, but or being the main one, I would say. Mm-hmm. But you can't just slap a goddamn.
Well, plus they didn't let you see the characters that you loved.
Right.
All the characters that you loved weren't even there.
No,
the people that have the money to spend it don't want to see Rey and
nobody
Kylo
wants
Ren
to see
or whoever the hell. They want to see Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Anakin.
Nobody wants to see Rey or Kylo Ren or Poe or the other one or whatever. Like nobody wants to see any of those people. Why? Because they killed Star Wars.
I will push back. I think they have plenty of intellectual property that people have loved over the years. Like I always go back to Jungle Book. I love Jungle Book. The original animated movie was great, and then the one that Favreau did, I think it grossed over like $1 billion, and so people still love that story, right? And that's something they could, and they proved this in Tokyo, where they put Peter Pan and Rapunzel and made these awesome lands that you can go experience. They could done this. Okay. They could still do the same thing with something like that, something old.
And why can't they do one fucking attraction that doesn't have a fucking intellectual property attached?
I'm just giving them ideas because this is what they're going to do.
I've been giving them ideas for almost a decade now of stuff that you can do without a fucking television or movie.
But that's what kids do nowadays. They're everything.
No, they stand and watch their phones. That's not even. I know,
but everything is here.
Yeah, like I don't know, like your kids, but like my students have like no imagination whatsoever, like none.
Perhaps it's because they've had shitty, mentorships of imagination.
No, it's because
like having to shove a fucking cartoon down their throat over at the Living Sea.
It's not just that.
They grow up differently.
They grew up very differently. They've been with screens their whole lives, and everything just like instantly fed to them. They're not having to think about things. I gave them a timeline to do today. Like, they had the information. They just had to put it in order on a timeline, and they complained so much. So much.
While you're making me even more fearful for the future, I think the better way to change that would be to encourage the creativity of those people that are in Imagineering now. Because right now, what they're focused on is seeing what's on Disney Plus and what's popular, and then seeing if they can make an attraction out of that, instead of coming up with a really great attraction and then seeing where the chips may fall on it.
Oh, I had something interesting. about this. Nielsen ratings came in for the year. You know what the most watched streamed show was?
Suits?
Of the year of all the platforms
Suits?
based on Nielsen. What?
Moana.
Suits?
Moana.
Yeah.
That can't be. Okay.
I heard it.
So, okay. Yeah. I'm
Googling
pretty
it.
sure there's a little bit of skewing of the numbers there of parents
Maybe.
just putting
I
that
don't
shit
know.
on in the background so that their kid will shut the hell up. I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it. Why? Because that's what I do to myself, basically, when I put on Star Trek at night to fall asleep. That's how I'm
The only thing I would say is
myself.
that they gave me the wrong information, or they didn't say exactly what it was, but it wasn't all animated stuff on there. So
I am certain that
the
pure numbers
list, that's
wise,
all.
I'm certain that pure numbers wise, that you are absolutely right. I also happen to think that Suits was the more impactful of those shows, along with Cobra Kai, along with God knows how many other streaming series.
Cobra Kai didn't have a show out. So
well, it's bullshit. Stupid ass writer strike. Anyway, I need to get through it. So listen, I almost don't want to set the group chat on fire anymore. That's the reason why I needed to have this discussion.
Oh, you will. You can't help yourself.
No, I can't help myself, but still, man. Like you understand where I'm coming from, that it's not simply just like that I'm like, fuck it, throw every cartoon out, never make another attraction based on a movie ever again. So I just want once for them to come up with something that does not require me to have sat down and watched something else.
Well, maybe in your lifetime it will happen, but as long as these guys are in charge, it's not.
That's a fucking crying shame. It really is. Like I'm terrified for Test Track with this refurb because what's the betting odds? What's the betting odds on it being Cars themed?
I don't. Yeah.
I would like to say
go ahead.
that I did Google this, and the top streaming movie of 2023 was Moana.
Okay,
there you go.
Movie. What
followed by
movie? Sorry.
Encanto. Followed by Encanto.
Oh wow, that's a big property too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where did Suits play?
I guess the caveat would be movie. That's not a movie. So.
Everybody went nuts for Suits over the summer.
It was the number one acquired streaming program. So it originated with Netflix and Peacock. So, but Suits was the number one acquired, and as far as original, Ted Lasso was number one.
Ted Lasso. Man.
The last season wasn't very good, but
it's too positive of a show for me. I
love the show, but the last season I didn't like. But the point is Moana is coming to a theme park near you again.
Why? They already did it. Like, just fucking stop.
They should have never done it. That should never happen the way they did it in Epcot.
Neither should the Vagina Garden. I'm just saying.
That's because they didn't want to spend money.
Therein lies the problem. They don't want to spend money on shit to make something that's long lasting. Look,
if I had to bet, I think Moana is coming to Magic Kingdom, and I think it's there's two places it's going to go. It's rather going to go out past somewhere behind Big Thunder Mountain, which wouldn't make much sense, or it's going to go in Adventureland. There's a plot of land in Adventureland apparently that they could build it. It would just be an attraction.
They could also get rid of Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse.
They could.
I mean, sure, yeah.
Does anybody actually that?
So I heard something interesting, and you guys kind of touched on this on your show last week. You guys were talking about Liberty Square, and it goes into
Frontierland.
But what's as we go into Frontierland? What's after Frontierland would be the Louisiana Purchase in Louisiana. So does Frontierland,
the whole westward expansion kind of started with Louisiana Purchase. So that's why I'm not mad at Tiana's going where, Splash Mountain is, because it actually does fit there if you look at the history, which is how those two lands are set up. Sorry, I am actually teaching this right now, and so this is currently.
And I don't mean to dismiss anything that you just said, because you're absolutely 100% correct. But what you just sounded like is, well, technically speaking,
but it's actually more in line with how history worked.
Right.
At the time period.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. And well, technically, yeah, that is correct. That's what you're doing with
that's almost as good as your robot voice, but
I love a good robot voice. Hello, Honel.
Oh boy.
I hope our couch is comfortable.
We've lost everybody.
I know we have. Please continue. Listen, I wasn't being dismissive of it at all. What I was trying to get at, though, was just simply that people are, especially Josh Tomorrow right now, is making whatever fucking excuses that he can to make anything fit wherever he wants.
I just said that's why I wasn't mad that it's there, because it does.
Yeah, I think it actually fits. With what they're trying, what the whole idea of it is, but now what they put beyond Thunder Mountain, they could really screw that up, I guess.
Look, I'm less upset about the idea of stuff happening at Magic Kingdom. I am. It's Epcot and Animal Kingdom that I kind of want to protect the integrity of the theme, so to speak. And maybe here next week.
Yeah, but God you could make it. Oh, here's the thing: if they were to put Moana in Animal Kingdom, the movie Moana, I think of all the things they've talked about, would fit best in Animal Kingdom, over Encanto and Coco and Indiana Jones, because the show is about what they talk about, the land providing you a life and taking care of it, and it's about conservation.
You
could stream into. That's what Animal Kingdom is about.
It's that connection between humans and nature.
Yeah,
cool.
So I think Moana could.
I'm good
theoretically.
With it.
I mean, yeah,
I'm better with it, I suppose, in Animal Kingdom than I am at Epcot. I mean,
it shouldn't be at Epcot. I agree.
And that's my frustration, is that I've seen Epcot go from something that it's not even that I was wanting to be educated. It's that it educated me without me really trying to be educated.
If Disney wanted to, they could strip the Moana name off of that. That whatever, I don't know what you want. I don't think it's
the Journey of Water.
Yeah, the Journey of Water, and just call it the Journey of Water, and it doesn't really even have anything to do with Moana.
I would be much more comfortable with that. What about you, honey?
Yeah, I think I would be.
I mean, because they do have the, what's her name, the mountain.
Tafiti.
Volcano. Yeah, but it's not really even have anything to do with Moana.
Well, then that's that's another problem with it.
But that's a Chapek.
What's the point of using it? What's the point of using it if you're not going to?
Chapek wasn't very smart. We all know this.
This was an Iger decision. This was approved under him. No, this opened under Chapek, but it was approved by Iger. That's what look. The one thing that Bob Chapek did from a movie studio standpoint is Deadpool 3. That's I think that might be the first and last movie that he greenlit.
Oh, well, he's CEO for 2 years. You'd think he'd greenlight something.
I mean, he probably greenlit a couple of other Marvel movies that are later on. Or whatever, but that it's not Iger it's not Chapek that was making all the decisions that piss us off right this second. It was Iger.
Yeah, it's Iger. Yeah. I mean, his time is wearing thin. So, but in a month, they're going to have their annual investor meeting, and I think it's on April 4th, and we can discuss, because they may announce something. If they're going to announce something, that may be something that they talk about.
Well, they're going to have to. Otherwise, we'll get into it in April. Patrick, would you like to promote anything while you're here, since you are our CFO?
So it's notclub33.com and the Notcast. the YouTube channel. Now you can find the Cynics on Disney on the YouTube channel. So that's great. We got 2 shows running, double the fun, right?
Sure.
I think that's where we need to go. If anybody wants to watch the 3 of us or the 4 of us, the 7 of us, well, the 6 of us, but
whatever, however many there are.
What's great about our shows is that we're just talking, shooting shit, right? You have different ideas. Amanda has different ideas. Sometimes we get to hear them. I got different ideas. Steve, of course, he has his own ideas. Becky,
no. Amanda's ideas get shoved into the corner, where they rarely see the light of day.
Right, they do.
But it's interesting topics. Of course, a lot of people talk about this, but they don't necessarily get these type of opinions from people. So,
sure. Well, we appreciate you wanting to promote us and everything like that. Speaking of self-promotion, Amanda, we're on social media, are we not?
We are on social media.
Where might we be found on social media?
You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. And you can find us everywhere else. So Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Threads at Cynics on Disney.
And of course, this podcast is sponsored by NotClub33.com. So make sure that you are going to Not33.com to check out all the latest and greatest updates, including but not limited to the Nodcast every single Friday. Well, most every single Friday. Depends on if it's a holiday season or
correction,
something.
NotClub33.com. You just said not.
What did I say?
You said not.
Oh, shit. Well, NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates, including but not limited to the Nodcast every Friday at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. That is East Coast time for all of you California folk. If you like the show, make sure that you hit like here on YouTube or subscribe to this channel and subscribe to our podcast feed on whatever podcast feed we are, broadcasting it on, be that Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever. Make sure that you subscribe, rate, and review. And if you've already done that, then resubscribe, re-rate, and re-review. We want to get our name out there a little bit more exposed to more listeners through the algorithm. And trust me, you don't want me exposing us in any other way. So until next time, guys, thank you so much again for listening. Yeah, I know. We appreciate it. You guys have yourselves a magical fucking day.